frame 12, they're still in the middle of that one. So an intriguing game and very hard fought from both sides, really.
It was a great session last night, actually. I mean, I did speak to Django, who looks after Judd, and he said he's feeling weak still. He's not 100%, so he's doing really well to hang in because Carter's playing some good stuff. The match play last night was great. The final frame in particular that session was an absolutely brilliant frame of snooker. So it's very close fought and there's not much between them.
When we look at Ali Carter, just physically, he looks different right now. Clearly he's in much better health after these well-documented problems with Crohn's disease. But, you know, from the point of view of his actual play, what's the difference between now and even only a short few weeks ago?
With a bit of confidence, I suppose, you know, getting over that first round as well. As he said when he came into the studio, he knows that he's going to be out of the top 16, so he's not really worried about that unless he goes on to win this event. So it's sort of taken a bit of the pressure off. So he's come in a little bit similar to Stephen Hendry, sort of cavalier attitude, and it's sort of reverse psychology in a way. So he's trying to take the pressure off himself, and because of that, it's working. He's playing a little bit more freely. You can see him, he's got that little bounce, a little spring in his step as he goes around the table. He's quick, and he scores pretty heavily, and yeah, he probably just feels good, nice and relaxed.
Yeah, that's good to see. All right, we'll keep you up to date with that one. But it's time now for an update on the work being done by the Paul Hunter Foundations. It's three-time Master champion Paul Hunter, who, as you know, passed away very sadly with cancer 5.5 years ago. But the work being done in his name continues to grow and to develop. In fact, a certain Steve Davis, Sean Murphy and Peter Ebdon are all taking part in the Sheffield Half Marathon at the end of next month to raise funds for the charity. And there's a whole lot more going on besides.
In Leeds, we've been running a campaign to name some of our buses, our new environmentally friendly buses, after famous people from Leeds, and the public have voted, and Paul Hunter was one of the unanimous choices to be named. So we've put his name on the side of the bus, and we're here today to unveil it.
Okay, Evie. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It's wet. It's because it's wet. It won't come.
I think to have your name on a bus that'll be going around Leeds, I think it's great that Paul's name's still out there, because he certainly would have been a world champion. He won the Masters 3 times, and it's great to see his parents here and his daughter, and they do a fantastic job, and long may it continue.
We all knew Paul, and we knew what a lovely lad he was. As a tribute, you can't get better than that. It's going to be seen by everybody in the Leeds area as they get on board.
And lovely to see Paul's daughter Evie Rose shining brightly and looking so beautiful. She does look rather like a bit of her dad, and of course Lindsay, her mum. Very lovely lady, of course, and we all wish Lindsay, we always do it this time of year, all the very best. We hope you and the family are doing very well, Lindsay. All right, speaking of families, Mark Williams has a pretty good crew in tow as well, with Joe and his 2 boys, and they've actually gone through an interesting time with their dad recently, because, as you know, Mark Williams was the world #1. He slipped way down the rankings into the late 40s for a time, and it's been an almighty achievement for him to climb right back to the top of the rankings as he was this time last season. What's the journey been like? Tough, I'd say.
Well, they think they're better than me now, so. But we play a little bit on a little table, but none of them has beat me yet, that's for sure.
Whoever pops a black wins.
I don't think they know what's going on. They come and watch me, and you know, they come down early, and sometimes Rob Walker, they get them to do the walk on, and they love all that. But then when I start, then they like it, and probably after about 10 minutes, they just want to go in the players' room and cause havoc, really. So I think my oldest boy Colin knows a little bit what's going on with Kean. Just likes to run around and cause a bit of trouble. It would be nice if I could win a tournament while they're there, you know, so they could, you know, come and have some pictures done with me. But unfortunately, the few tournaments I have won have been in Germany and I think China, so it's a bit far away. But it would be nice if I could get to like a final or something, and then have all the family there, because they only come up towards the semis or the latter stages of tournaments.
Mark Williams is the powerhouse UK champion.
That was probably one of the best, most consistent stuff I played. Probably, I think I had all the BBC ones, the Grand Prix, the Masters, the UK and the World in the same year, which is unbelievable. I mean, I could never have, you know, I was only dreamt of winning one of them. You know what I mean? No matter winning the all four and in the same year, but I don't think deep down you actually convince yourself you are good enough to win a lot of them until it happens. When I got the number one the first time, I let my game go a bit. Same happened the second time. You know, I suppose I had little doubts then if I could get back into the 16, but yeah, it was quite difficult. I mean, yeah, there was a couple of reasons why I dropped down that low. To be honest, stuff off the table wasn't great at that time. I just split from the management company I was with for donkeys, and wasn't in the best position, to be honest, when I left. And there was just a lot of things happening, and that's probably the main reason why I went down so low and struggled to get any form going. I can't go into too much details on it, but you know, when I owed the bank a lot of money when I left. I owed the taxman a bit of money and a few other bits and pieces, and it took me 2 years, I think, to rediscover any form and try and get myself sorted off the table, really. Still not really 100% sorted now, but I'm a hell of a lot better than I was a few years ago. And you know, somehow with all that hanging on my mind, I somehow put that to the back and go back to number one, which was probably the best achievement I've done as a snooker player. It's getting more of an effort the last couple of years, I've got to be honest. I'd probably say 70% of the time I'm practicing just because I got to practice and got to keep my eye in. I mean, otherwise probably I wouldn't be there, but it's definitely getting harder. My aim now is just to try and do as well as I can in every tournament and basically try and earn as much money as I can, you know. There's nothing else I'm playing for, really. I'm not playing for any trophies, any tournament victories. I'm just playing to win as much money as I can, nothing else. I don't want any trophies or nothing.
Game over.
It looks like he's got his hands full at home, doesn't it? Certainly.
I want to be on them two against him.
He's now 37 years of age, and I have to say that's one of the most candid interviews I've heard Mark give for some time, just going into some of the reasons why he did slip down. I guess if things aren't right off the table, it makes it very hard, indeed, as he said, to concentrate on winning when it doesn't seem so important.
It's a very tough sport. Well, any sport is tough, but when you've got outside troubles, and particularly snooker, because snooker is a very cerebral type of game, and 90% of the game is in the mind, and if your mind is not right, it's very, very hard to perform on the table. It's a remarkable recovery, what he's done. He's come from world number 45 back through the qualifiers to the top of the tree, and it shows you how, you know, mentally tough he is. And he's a great player, great all-round player, and has been, and has been as candid as ever there in the interview.
And the great thing about it, I mean, obviously it's an individual sport, Hazel. It's not Saturday afternoon. I don't feel like I'll pass the ball to my mate.